The streak is over for Clint Boyer as he takes home his first win of the season and his first win at Martinsville Speedway. Welcome to the NASCAR MDK Post Race Show. I'm your host, Jack Krause. And let's get right into it with the first short track of the season, Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia. This race was postponed due to snow. The first time that's happened since 1993. You see drivers like Joey Logano, Martrix Jr. there. On a cold Monday afternoon, you see Kevin Harvick trying to recover from a bad week last week at Fontana. Good crowd on hand, and let's get right into it with lap number 4. Kyle Busch gets underneath pole sitter Martrix Jr. for the lead. Heading into turn 1, Busch completes the pass. Martrix Jr. eventually fell back to 8th or 9th at the end of the stage. Lap 27, I believe, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch's teammate, gets underneath Kyle Busch and passes him for the lead. Back once again, coming to the start-finish line with a trio of Toyota drivers, and Joey Logano in the 4th position with his teammate Keselowski in the 5th position. Trouble for rookie Darrell Walls Jr. gets into turn number 3, has a left rear tire, I believe, hits JJ Yeley, and that eventually breaks a sway bar, I believe. He had to go to the garage, and he would finish 36-14 laps down. Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin got into it, had a great battle for the lead with around 32 laps to go at the end of stage 1. Keselowski tried time and time again to try and get by Hamlin by playing the bumper, trying different lines, but that would eventually not work out. One driver that was having a great day on the move, AJ Allmendinger, started 21st, and you see there gets by Martrix Jr. for the 7th position. Great run for AJ Allmendinger. He would end up finishing 8th. Staying on the lead lap was key for Chris Buescher. AJ's teammate Denny Hamlin tried to get by him. Now we saw this last year with Busch and Stenhouse near the end of stage 2, but Hamlin would eventually get by. Stage points was key for the final playoff spot, not only for Johnson and Truex, but also for the lead. You see another battle between Keselowski and Hamlin, but eventually Denny Hamlin would make a 3-wide bold move underneath McMurray and Rhodes. McMurray hits Rhodes. That allows Hamlin to get by unscathed, as well as Keselowski, and coming off turn number 4, Hamlin would win stage 1. But that could have been disaster if he and him, Rhodes, and McMurray, that didn't go so well. That could have taken out him and Keselowski. Lead change on stage 2, Ryan Blaney underneath Denny Hamlin on lap 15. Good battle there, heading into turn 1, but eventually Ryan Blaney, 1 lap later, Blaney would eventually get by Denny Hamlin, and he would check out from there. There's you heading to turn 1 once again. Blaney gets a good run off turn 2 and takes the lead. Then AJ Allmendinger and Martrix Jr. going at it. You see AJ Allmendinger puts the bumper to Martrix Jr. heading into turn number 3. You see on board AJ Allmendinger. He drives it in hard, it looked like, it seemed, but according to his radio communications, he did that on purpose, it seemed like.
If anything, maybe like right below the right headlights where he hit the hardest if he's looking pictures. Yeah, we're just looking at it. It's fine. Might be a little hole in the nose, which won't hurt nothing if we get it on that tire.
Okay, I take it back. He was just ready.
Hey, that's short track racing for you. Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard got at it. Remember, this was for the final playoff spot, or point spot, in stage 2. Johnson using the outside lane to try and get to hold his position on Paul Menard. See if Menard tried to use that inside lane, but just could not get there, and eventually Johnson would hold the 10th position. But coming off turn 4 at the end of stage 2, Ryan Blaney wins his first stage at Martinsville Speedway, and that sets up for a stage 3 battle to the finish on lap 285. Clint Boyer, who started 9th in this race, no one expected him to come out and even be in contention for this race, gets by Ryan Blaney for the lead. Then on lap 325, Joey Logano got impatient with Jimmy Johnson. He puts the bumper to Johnson. That moves Johnson up high. He almost spun out, makes big contact with him. That allowed Eric Almirola and Alex Bowman to get by both of those guys for the 10th spot. Then, later on lap 384, Austin Dillon, 6 laps down, just wrecks, gets loose, and hits Jimmy McMurray, which sends McMurray around and slides into the wall. Solid contact with that outside retaining wall. Here's another view from the back end of, I believe, Ryan Newman. See, Dillon just gets loose, chases up the track, and unfortunately, McMurray was just an innocent victim of that mess. Then, with 45 laps to go, Trevor Bayne wheel hops heading into turn 3, and he hits the outside wall. Pretty major contact. See right here, he just wheel hops, chases up the track, and hits the wall. No caution would come out, surprisingly. But then that sets up the final lap for Clint Bowyer. No one could catch up to Clint Bowyer after he got by Ryan Blaney. And coming off to number 4, Bowyer snaps a 190 race winless streak dating back to October 2012 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That was the last time Clint Bowyer won a cup race. You see here, and coming down the back straight and into turn number 3, Bowyer drifts into a burnout to celebrate his first grandfather clock. Kyle Busch comes home in second once again in this season so far. Ryan Blaney in third, Martrix Jr. in fourth. Great run for him. And Kevin Harvick, after he had a bad week last weekend at Fontana, he rallies back for a top 5 finish. Good run for him. So now let's take a look at the unofficial results for this race. We talked about the top 5 between Harvick, Truex, Blaney, Busch, and Bowyer. Winner Joe Logano comes home in the 6th position. Good run for Alex Bowman, 7th place. He has been a factor so far in the top 10 this race so far, so it's nice to see him get a nice run right there. AJ Allmendinger's first top 10 this season. Chase Elliott 9th and Ryan Newman in 10th. Kurt Busch 11th, Denny Hamlin 12th, Paul Menard 13th, Eric Almirola 14th, Jimmy Johnson 15th, Kyle Larson 16th, Eric Jones 17th, Daniel Suarez 18th, Ryan Newman in 19th, and William Byron rounds out the top 10. Now let's take a look at the point standings after Martinsville Speedway. Kyle Busch takes on the top spot, 136 points ahead of Jimmy Johnson, who takes over the 17th place. Martrix Jr. already in the playoffs, 128 points ahead. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano teammates, 112 and 111. Also teammate Brad Keselowski, 105 points ahead. Denny Hamlin in the 6th place, 96 points ahead. Teammates Kevin Harvick and now Clint Bowyer, the newest driver to be added to the playoffs, 89 points in the 8th position. Kyle Larson 74 points ahead than his teammates Kurt Busch and Eric Almirola, 10th and 11th. Eric Jones 12th. Austin Dillon, Daytona 500 champion, 13th, 27 points ahead. Alex Bowman 24 points ahead. Paul Menard 18 points ahead. And Ryan Newman, who gets the final spot, 16th, 14 points ahead. Now, rating time. What do I rate this race on a scale of 1 to 10? This race was god awful. I don't know how else I could put it. This race was awful. I had so much more hype heading into this race, especially from what happened last year in the fall. Even last year in the spring was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. This race, I wasn't expecting it to be good, but at least average. I rate this a 3 out of 10 max. 2.5, 3 out of 10. That's max. It was horrible. It felt like Atlanta. It felt like, Fontana, where if you get out in front, clean air, no one could pass you. That's what it seemed like. We saw Kyle Busch. He was coming, but he could not pass him. He could get there, but he couldn't pass him. And the cars is just abysmal. And I'm gonna make a video on the cars and everything that's wrong with NASCAR in the summer later on, so be ready for that. But this race really disappointed me. I can't believe. I had spring break, so I didn't have to go to school anyways. But I would not rewatch this race. There was nothing to rewatch. But yeah, it was a boring race. God awful. Congrats to Clint Bowyer. But hey, guess what, guys? In 2 weeks, we go to a mile-and-a-half track. Yay! Yay! A mile-and-a-half track at Texas. Whoa! Ah, man, I don't know what to say, but yeah, trucks come back in May. That's great. When is IndyCar? I don't know. When is IndyCar? I can't wait for that race. I think they're in, I don't know where they are, but I'm going to be looking forward to IndyCar. But until next time, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more post-race shows and pre-race shows. I got Let's Plays coming out later this week, as well as the Series X-Men Cup Series. So be ready for that. But until next time, I'm Jake Cross from NASCAR and MDK. Congratulations to Clint Bowyer, and I will see you in 2 weeks for Texas.